Okay, so back for another video now in this series. In the last video, um, I brought in this C-130 model and got it hooked up with the JSP Sim movement component, created a base aircraft class and a blueprint to get everything loaded and in the world. So that's where that's sitting right now. I need to start thinking about, there's a couple things I think I need to think about here. One is this test level that I'm using is uh, clearly not even remotely big enough anymore. The floor here, maybe I should just go ahead and scale this guy. Um, Maybe that'll be big enough. Actually, let me make it even bigger. Okay, so now hopefully the ground, I have enough room to maneuver. Um, so I need to start hooking up input. And what I want to do here is I think I want to create a folder here for character movement and move all of these into that folder. And now I'm going to create a new folder, vehicles and aircraft. So in this aircraft folder, let's make a new input action, IA underscore Aspen. Did I prefix these with Aspen? I don't know if I did. No, I didn't. Not really a need to, since these will be the only actions in the project, more than likely. And let's just do a throttle input action for now. And let me think about this. Let's have a throttle up and a throttle down action and make them digital. And this is, so I actually have a Thrustmaster throttle joystick set up here, but I'm not going to mess with that for now because it's kind of not the simplest thing in the world to set up. Throttle up. This should be throttle down. I probably will set up the joystick at some point, but for now I'm just going to do some sort of keyboard, mouse, something or other. So for now we'll have a throttle up and a throttle down input action that are digital. And I will come here and add that action mapping. You know what? I'm gonna prefix this. Doesn't matter so much right now, but it probably will later when I bring in other vehicles. There we go. Okay. So we've got throttle up and we've got throttle down. And throttle up, we'll make W. Throttle down, we'll make S. Actually, I wonder if I can use the mouse wheel. No, I'm not gonna mess with that for now because I don't quite know how the mouse wheel works in this new enhanced input stuff. So for now, I'm just gonna do WNS. We just want to see it work. So I got my two actions. I got my context set up. I need to actually put these on my class. So on my aircraft class, I need input actions and I need the input context. I need to do all that setup. Luckily, I've already done all of that in my character class, so I can steal the code straight from there. I'm just gonna grab this code. Oops. Throttle up and throttle down action. And then in my aircraft class, actually, I need to set up the input context, and I've done that here in begin play. I need that same code in my begin play here. Okay, and I'm going to have to add forward declarations for these. Done. Now I need to actually set up the input itself. So if we look at how I did that on the character, every class or every function I just set up, and I used the triggered or started depending on the type of input. I believe I want triggered on, yes, I want triggered on my throttle up and down actions. That class input action value. Here, we'll just steal it. And we need to forward declare this. And add a definition for my throttle up triggered, and I'm going to add a throttle down triggered. Okay, so I've got both of those. Now I need to hook those up in my setup input, player input components. I'm gonna grab this whole thing here. Whoops. Add the includes for these guys. Okay, so that's throttle up. And throttle down. So those are hooked up now. So and my throttle up triggered. Now I gotta remind myself how this works. I need the, aircraft movement. Engine commands. For now, I'm just going to grab the first element. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like, but I need to do it for all 4 engines. So what I'm actually going to do, well, my C++ is weak here. For each, maybe I should just do an iterate. Oops. Give me some IntelliSense so I can see what's going on here. Do I have a number of engines? .num, that'll work. Okay. Whoa. Ah. The AI wants to do some interesting stuff there. So we're gonna, actually this is a double. This is probably gonna be a range between 0 and 1. So I'm gonna increase it by 0.01 and decrease it by 0.01. Put an F there just for fun. Okay. I'm gonna compile this and see, compile this and see what it gets me. While that's compiling, I can actually look. See, this is where I mentioned having this this AWACS plane here might help me, because I can actually look at what the blueprint that comes with this thing does, and I probably want to look at the parent. So it does the same thing. It loops through the engine commands, breaks it up, throttle. I don't see where it actually increases it though. Set throttle. Oh, used by child. Okay. Let's see, set throttle here. I do see set engine speed, but this is just going to be for the animation. have to dig into that a little bit later. Am I done compiling? Oh, uh-oh. Let's see what we got here. Oh, live coding is crapping out on me. Okay. Try it one more time. No, when that happens, what I do is I kill the editor. And once it's completely unloaded, I'll do a build just from Rider and then relaunch the editor. So I'll do all that, and I'll pause the video while I'm doing all of that. Okay, so I did a build and relaunched the editor. So we're going to take a look at my blueprint. Whoops. And we should have an Aspen category with, there we go, my context, my throttle up, and set my throttle down. Okay, those are all set. Let's see what happens here. So you can see in the debug info here, under engine commands, we've got throttle settings for all 4 engines. And if I hit W, yikes. So only 2 of my engines are firing up there. And I don't know what was going on with the I wonder if oh, okay. It's allowing me to go negative. I don't know if I want that or not. Okay. Wonder how negative it allows me to go. It'll just let me keep going. So the JSP Sim plugin is not doing any kind of clamping, so we will probably need to do some clamping. First things first, I need to figure out why only 2 of my engines are throttling up there. So I'll tell you what, let me actually kill the editor and launch it again from the debug. Oops. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break while that launches, and so I'm going to pause the video here and I'll start it back up when I'm ready. Okay, so now I have the editor in debug mode, and I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to come back to my code. I'm going to set a breakpoint right here, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hit my W, and my breakpoint got hit, and let's see what we got here. So yeah, it's not gonna work. All right, and editor to add a watch. Rider's still getting its act together. I is currently 0. Interesting. Try that again. W. I is 0. I is 2. Oh, what am I doing? Good grief. C++, I'm very still rusty. That's actually, let's cancel that. I don't know what this is all about. Really, what would be better here is if I haven't done a for each in C++ in forever. This will be this aircraft movement, engine commands. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Figured it out for me. Yeah, I think that would be better. Okay, I'm gonna compile that. I'm gonna relaunch the editor. I'll pause the video while I wait for all that. Okay, so my editor's reloaded. I'll go ahead and start, see what I've got. Now, I guess that for loop isn't gonna work. That's unfortunate. My C++ is just not. Let's see if live coding is going to work now. And the answer is no, live coding still doesn't want to work for me. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm just going to run this in the debugger for now. Okay, so now I got the editor running in debug mode. I'm gonna start, let's see if I can start her up. braking on all of these. Just run. Alright, of course that's not going to work. I probably need to reboot, but I don't want to do that for obvious reasons. So I'm going to try to just run a build real quick here. And then I'm going to launch the editor separately. Okay, now the editor's launched. Let's see what happens when I run. There we go, all 4 engines now. I'm not sure what's going on there though. That's the next thing I'm going to end up having to look at. So you see how all of my debug information disappeared. That's because the aircraft crashed. The JSP sim detected the aircraft crashed and it stopped the simulation. It's almost like my model is facing the wrong direction. Take a look at the AWACS plane and see what it looks like. Oh, it's not going to show anything. Ah, that sucks. Lined up a little bit better, but it's like the whole thing is off by 90 degrees. Let me see what happens if I is bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before with these. You know what, I am recalling something about prop planes. Oops. Let me just bring in another model real quick. Let's see if the same thing happens. So let's see. Let's bring in the MiG 29. Wrong folder again. Content. Shoot, you know what? There's no MiG 29 model. I'd have to go find one. Let me bring in. Let me bring in. Here we go. F-16. Wait for that to finish extracting. Okay, there we go. Okay, now F-16 mesh. Move the camera boom up. F16. Structural frame origin just like we did for the C-130. Move, try to get lined up. And you can see this one actually lines up way better than the C-130 did. It's still not perfect, but way, way closer. So let me save that. Let me set my inputs. Throttle up, throttle down. Save that, compile. And let me change my world settings to do F16. I want to come back to that C-130, but I just want to see if this so it's going exactly backwards. This is interesting. This I have seen before. Okay. Let me see that again. You know what's probably happening here? It's going to be the coordinate system. Let me take a look at that guy. What do we got in this? So this is going to be the question with the JSP sim component. Now there we go. Okay, now let me try the C-130 again. No, it's still totally messed up. Okay. Come back to the F16. See, the JSP sim component is expecting this georeferencing system so that it knows the coordinates that it's at. So it sort of assumes that it's, you know, on Earth, on a model of the Earth, and I don't know if that's going to end up working out for me because so we could use something like Cesium or ArcGIS to bring in the entire planet, but I didn't really want to do that. I want to be able to have my own sort of map if I want. I don't know if I want to use a model of the real world yet, and so I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out with this georeferencing system. See, this is one of the reasons I thought I may end up having to go with the projectile movement component, but I'm going to not worry about it for now. It seems, at least F16 seems to be moving correctly, so I'm going to continue using the F16, see if I can implement the rest of the controls at least on here, and we'll worry about the georeferencing stuff later. So I need input actions for the, at the very least, the elevators, ailerons, and rudders. So I'm going to put those in, and I'm not going to worry about things like landing gear or the canopy or cargo doors moving or anything like that yet. I'm just going to try to get the basic movement implemented. So I'm going to come back up into input, and I'm going to add a couple more. Actually, I'm going to change my throttle up and throttle down. So I'm going to change this to throttle up is going to be plus, and throttle down will be minus. And now I'm going to add actions for control of surfaces. So we got IA underscore elevator, and this is going to be an axis 1D. Ailerons. There we go. And rudder. I guess the word action is kind of redundant there. Maybe I'll come remove all those. If I do, I'll do that offline. So these should all be axis 1D. Whoops. Okay, throttle up, throttle down should be digital. That's an axis 1D. Axis 1D. Axis 1D. Okay. Need to add those to my aircraft class. Okay. AI stuff is pretty nice sometimes. Okay. Generate definitions. Actually, let's see if AI will generate these for me. Yes. Excellent. Okay. So those are hooked up. I need to put some actual code in them. Actually, first let me do this. Man, I've already forgotten this. So it's going to be something in the aircraft movement component. I don't remember offhand. So the way this works, the way the JSP Sim component works is you send it commands and then you receive outputs. And I don't remember what the name of the specific command is for ailerons, but I thought that there was a way that they had wrapped it in. There we go. There we go. I think that's what I want. Oops. And let me see if live coding is going to work for me this time, now that I've restarted everything. No, it's still not working, man. That is just really annoying. So I guess every time I want to compile, until I get a chance to reboot, I'm going to have to close out the editor and rebuild and then launch the editor again. It's the only way I can get these things to work. But at any rate, I'll pause the video so you don't have to sit here through all that. Okay, let's see if that, I'm not sure if that aileron code is going to be correct or not, so let's take a quick look. And where's my ailerons? Right here, right and left aileron. Oh, my world settings didn't save. My right and left aileron, so let me I did not hook them up in the context, so they weren't working at all. So ailerons are going to be D to go right, A to go left, so I need to negate that one. Save. And they're still not working. I don't think I hooked up the action. Up all three of them here. Aileron, rudder. Still not working, so I may not have the right command. Let's take a look at, actually F16 comes with movement, so we can actually look at the F16. they're taking the axis value, calling set roll. Oh, that's gonna be on the set roll. Axis value comes in. They're clamping it. Flaps outer, that's a variable they're setting on the anim instance. Anim instance, and this is just animation stuff here. Okay. So it sets the roll variable. Let's go. Let's go back one. There we go. Input action. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video because I don't want you guys to sit here and watch me find the right the right command. It's in here somewhere, but it's gonna take me a little bit to find it. So I'm gonna pause right here for just a minute. Okay, I think this is the one. So I think this command structure is what needs to be set. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this for all of these. Okay, and I know I can't use live coding for now, so I'm going to close this out. And I'm going to build one more time, and I'll be back once that finishes and I can launch the editor. Okay, let's see what I have now. I still need, let me check my input. I need to set up the elevators. So I got ailerons, let me do elevator. So elevator down. I need to think about this for a second. I think, well, actually, I don't need to think about it. I'm going to do W and S. I'm going to negate S. So I think that might actually be backwards because the way I want that to work. But if it is, we can come back and just change it. So no biggie. So that's elevators. I'm going to do rudder. Rudder, I'm going to do C and Z, and Z will be the negative. Okay, there we go. So those are all set up. I believe I have them all hooked up in my blueprint. There we go. Yep, they're all hooked up. See what happens now. Yes. Aileron. Ailerons are working. Rudder's working. No, rudder may not be working. Elevator's working. Alright, let's see what happens if I give it some gas. Yikes. The rudder. The rudder was. There we go. Okay, the elevators are correct. The ailerons are correct. Actually, no. I need to stop doing triggered. I need to do started and completed. Something's happening though. Let me give that one more try. Now let me throttle all the way back. Let's see here. God, it's really hard to control not using the triggered events. Okay. Um, so rather than triggered, I should have used started and completed so that I could um, so that I can like reset the controls back to zero when you're not touching them. That's what was making it impossible to control. But that's the basic controls right there. So you know what? I'll go ahead and do actually, I don't know if started and completed is necessarily what I want there. Whoops. I'll actually have to take a look more at some of these actions and see which one I want to use. So I'm not going to do that right now. I think this is a good stopping point. So all I've done right now is hooked up the very basic flight, the throttle and the very basic flight controls, right? So I can take off, turn around, come back, land. But you see nothing is animating on the aircraft, right? You should see the elevators moving. If I hit the ailerons, you should see those moving, but you're not seeing any of that because I haven't done anything yet in the animation blueprint. And even when the aircraft rolls on the ground, right, the wheels should be moving, and right now you can't really see that they're not moving, but they're not. You know what? I am going to do one thing real quick before I end this video. So I want to be able to move the camera around so that I can sort of see what's happening. So with the different control surfaces as I test. So I'm going to want an action here. Oh, come on. Ryder just froze on me. There it goes, finally. Okay, so I want an action here. I'm gonna call it camera move action. I'm gonna hook that up. Whoa. I did not want an inline function. What? That is really strange. I really need to reboot, so let me just put this method in and hook it up. Okay, and what I wanted to do here, I want to rotate the boom. Let me get I want, vector 2D, no. I'm going to do just a float for now, and I'll just hook up one axis. I want to set the rotation. Which one do I want to set? think about this one for a second. I think what I want is to make a rotator and then add relative rotation. I'm going to try that. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but basically what I'm wanting to have happen here is I want to hook this up to the mouse, horizontal axis. So I'm going to have to close the editor. Well, you know what, let me go before I close it. Let me go ahead and create my action. Mapping. Mouse X, that's correct. And let me save all. Close that, and again, I'm going to build and relaunch the editor, and I'll pause the recording while I do that. Okay, so I've got the editor reloaded. Let's see what happens now. Oh, I didn't hook up I don't think I hooked up the actual input there yet. Let me... Okay. And there we go. Okay, so now I can look around. Excellent. So I can look around. Throttle's hooked up. And all my basic flight controls are hooked up. Although I need to change from using the triggered method to something else. I need to decide what I want to do there. What I really want to do actually is probably run down to GameStop and buy a gamepad to hook up and use, because I could use like I said, I have a flight stick and throttle here, but that is actually more work to hook up because you have to use a plug-in and you have to try to determine what each axis is. So that's actually a lot of work. I don't really feel like doing that yet. I may just hook up started and completed events to the keys so that I can continue to use the keyboard for now, until I can acquire some sort of gamepad, or I actually have a PlayStation. Maybe that gamepad will work. Anyway, for now I'm going to stop this video here where I've got all the basic flight controls hooked up. I think in the next video, what I'm going to do is first I'll fix up my input, and then I think I'll add a camera zoom on the mouse wheel as well, maybe. So I'll think about that, but I definitely want to start hooking up the animations as well. So I want you to see the elevators and the ailerons move when when you move the controls. So and that I remember that being pretty painful when I did this before, so that may be a long video as well. But anyway, I'll stop this one here because it's getting pretty long, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.